All right, just finishing up here, another great day on the battle bus here in London. And a lot of you have been hearing about this hashtag delete Facebook trend that's happening out there. And what we saw was this massive tech giant, again, imposing its will on the people. And what they did is they throttled information in Australia and basically didn't give people access or freedom to their own information. And here in the UK, they said it was an attempt to derail democracy. And we actually have a lot of experience with this. Last year, we went head to head with another trillion-dollar tech company, also known as Alphabet, which owns Google and owns YouTube. Maybe that's why you're watching this video right now. And we fought for our own right to free speech. And here at London Real, the company that I've run for the past 10 years, we've been broadcasting long-form conversations for 10 years. I've had over 1,000 people on my show, never had a single problem until April 6th of last year when one of my episodes, which was the second largest YouTube live stream in the world, was deleted and banned. And it just didn't make sense that information wouldn't be allowed to be consumed, because freedom of speech is something I hold fundamental, and it's also fundamental to our democracy. And so I just want to say to everybody out there who's struggling with a company like Facebook, I've been there before. We fought back. We got a open letter that was signed, I think, 250,000 times. And we really pushed back and got a whole movement around the world really behind us as far as supporting freedom of speech, or what I call digital freedom of speech. And that's why, as your next mayor of London, one of my 12 key policies is digital freedom of speech. And you can go to our website, brianformayor.london, and read more about it. But it basically says that in these times, especially in these crazy times where we're being locked down, freedom of speech is really important, because it determines what's going to happen to our future, our livelihoods, the future of our children. And digital freedom of speech is even more important, because when we can't talk to each other in person, then we're forced to use these technology companies to actually talk to each other. And when that happens, then we see these tech giants actually stop us from communicating. And that's what I think is really dangerous. And that's why I really applaud everyone behind this hashtag delete Facebook campaign, because we have to tell these tech companies that it's not okay. It's not okay to censor us. We just don't think that's appropriate. And we think that freedom of speech applies even on our digital platforms. And I know a lot of you say, well, it's a private company, Brian, they can do what they want. Well, I don't think they can, because YouTube, for example, has a community policy, but they seem to be very arbitrary about how they choose to enforce that. And I've been on the receiving end of that. And they basically can take down what they want, and it has nothing to do with the law many, many times. And the truth is, most of us now communicate on one of these monopolies, whether it be YouTube or Facebook. And we've got to make sure that they follow the law of the land. And that's what we're going to do as well when it comes to becoming the next mayor of London. I'm going to fight for digital freedom of speech, and I'm not going to allow these tech companies to tell us what we can and cannot do when it comes to expressing ourselves freely. So just wanted to say that. I want to send all my support to our brothers and sisters down there in Australia. We appreciate your fight, and I agree with the people here in the UK that say that's an affront to democracy. We think that you should always have the right to information and the right to express yourself with each other digitally, as long as it obeys the law. And again, it can't ever incite violence. It can't ever incite the overthrow of governments. We've never been about that. It's all about expression. And as an adult, you should have the right to choose who you listen to and who you don't. And if you don't want to listen to someone, great, then don't. But that shouldn't not allow them to speak their mind. So those are my thoughts. We had a great day on the bus today. Please leave me your comments below. Do you think Facebook should be held to task for withholding information in so many different sites that they should? Do you think people should delete Facebook? And do you think we should really fight back against companies like Google and YouTube and force them to respect my right to publish ideas? As long as they're legal of the land, I think we should. So leave me your comments below. Also give me a shout out if you followed our fight last year. It was pretty incredible. We created our own streaming platform, the Digital Freedom Platform, and we streamed 40 or 50 interviews that wouldn't have been allowed on one of these big tech giants. Some of those were with the Professor Emeritus of MIT. Some of those were with Nobel Prize winners. I had a 5-star general on there that I had to stream on my own platform. This is how passionate I am about freedom of speech. Leave me your comments below. And again, brianformayor.london. Support us, volunteer for us. Another great day on the road. We are advancing in the polls. We've got support everywhere. We're in the Evening Standard today. It's all going great. We really appreciate you. So make sure you get out and vote and spread this message. All right. Thank you so much.